Golfers, get ready. David here with Shoot for Par. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be covering a video that I did not expect me to be able to do, but we did a previous video on the Lazrus hybrids, and that video was very popular. So we've decided that we are going to do a follow-up with the 3-wood, the 5-wood, and the 7-wood. I am here with Justin, who is on the camera, and he is going to walk us through the process of being able to see how these fairways rank compared to the longest Lazrus hybrid that we have, which is the 3. So I have gotten a little bit warmed up, but I am going to hit some 3 hybrid shots. Justin, go ahead and take it from here.
So we're going to hit the 3 hybrid. Just get a good reference of the 3 hybrid performance. Look at shot dispersion, distance, and carry. So let's see how we turn out. So a nice good fade there, carrying 208, roll out to 219.
Fell a little fat.
A little off center, but still good numbers, good placement.
Yeah, as with the previous video, I am and was super impressed with the way that these Lazrus hybrids performed. I don't think I had anything bad to say about them, and their distances were just pretty good.
A little off the toe.
What you think? About one more?
Yeah, give me one more. Give me one more good one. There we go. That's going to come right back to pretty close to the center there. There we go. So there we go. Carry 231, roll out to 145 total. You're knocking into 3-wood territory there with just a 3 hybrid, which is rather impressive. You know, a direct-to-consumer golf club with no modifications. Standard grip from the company, standard shaft from the company, everything completely from them. So,
okay,
pretty good.
Moving on to the 7-wood.
All right, let's see what the 7-wood's going to do here. Here we go.
So I would expect a little bit higher launch.
Yep.
Obviously a little bit more spin and less distance than the 3 hybrid, but this thing should get straight up in the air very easily.
Yes.
Length doesn't feel too disappointing. Feels almost like a 3 fairway. Face, just looking down at it, seems awful close right off the bat.
Yep.
Me getting used to the length, took a massive divot on that one.
A little off the toe, but there's your launch. You know, that 7-wood's going to get you up in the air a little bit more. There we go. Still off the toe, but that just gives you a good proof of how forgiving this club is. You see that? You're just ever so slightly out to the toe. Carry 189. Club speed 99.
That felt really good.
That was a good strike. Good strike, good fade.
I mean, most people, they would bag a 7-wood if they're just trying to get, you know, a little bit more height, a little bit more control. That's the best shot yet.
Yep. That's very nice. That's going to carry 204, go out to 215. Club speed of 91.7 with a ball speed of 137. Very good.
Now, Justin, we were talking earlier about just the finish on the faces as I moved to the 5-wood. What did you think about just how the fairway woods look?
They look, you know, I mean, they looked okay. There was rather decent blemishes. I mean, you know, some of the club face and the, you know, you look down at it at address, it just, you get some bubbling in the paint, you get a little imperfections. So I mean, you know, there could be some decent cleanup on these. However, for the price range for most folks, there's where you're going to gain as well. You know, you get them in that price range. And so moving on to the 5-wood, well, you're already seeing the true 5-wood performance there. Carrying 223, good club speed, great ball speed, that nice controllable shot where you need to be. That's a fairway finder all day long.
And those of you that have watched the channel, you realize I favor the fade much more than I do the draw. The draw can be executed. I'm just not that comfortable to where I can hit it on command. Whereas this is the fade is the shot for me to be able to execute over and over again.
A little off the toe, but still, you know, you still see that good forgiveness. You know, for an amateur golfer going out, buying some clubs, this is where they're going to benefit with that forgiveness.
We'll hit one more with the 5, and then we'll move on to the 3. May have overcooked that one.
Yeah, a little overcooked, but still. You know, 94 mile an hour club speed, 140 mile an hour ball speed, carrying 202 with a 5-wood. Still doing very well. Good launch angle of 11 degrees. You ready to move to the 3?
Yep, let's go to the 3.
All right.
Justin and I were also talking about grip size when we were talking about the fact that him and I both have Lazrus wedges, and the grips are just a little bigger. Then when we moved to the hybrids, we actually took a caliper and we were measuring them. They were a little smaller, and then when we get to the fairway woods, we were losing about 3 or 4 millimeters. I don't feel like the grip itself is fit to me. I think it's too small, quite frankly, and you can see like there should just barely be touching there, and I feel like I'm almost overlapping into my palm. And you know, it's always important to get fitted for clubs. I would say it's probably most important to get fitted for grip.
95 mile an hour club speed with 143 ball speed.
It's a little low in the face.
Yeah, it was a little low.
That hybrid just feels a little bit maybe stiff compared to this 3-wood.
Yep.
That's going to come across a lot.
Yeah, a little in the heel.
Justin, what do you think about that backspin?
It's looking good. 5,300 backspin. You know, you have that in a fade. You know, you're not going to have that rollout. You're going to get a little more control over it.
And I'd say we're probably good for one more.
Yep.
So far, I still haven't seen 240 that we had in the 3 hybrid, right?
Right.
Oh, that might be pretty close. That's definitely right.
There it is. 250, almost 251 right there. So total yardage 251, 96 mile an hour club speed with 144 ball speed.
I don't feel like I really got after that one. I just felt like I maybe loaded the shaft better.
Yep.
those hit low and thin.
Mm-hmm.
So even a miss hit like that, still, I mean, if a fairway is 20 yards wide, that's still right in first cut.
Yep.
It's another one that I pulled out to the right.
And that's still going to go. Yeah. 251 with 2,900 backspin. As you see it in that shot before, you know, you get that more backspin. That's going to kind of put the brakes on that ball. So that's where you gain with that fade shot.
Let's take a look at the summary and the grouping.
Yep, so there's your shot dispersion. Looks pretty good. You know, 3 woods here. 5 woods a little tighter. That 7's pretty snug for itself as well. And then that 3 hybrid. You know, they're all fairly snug on that shot dispersion. And that's what you want. You know, and kind of gives you that forgiveness, doesn't it?
I would say so, but overall, what I can say about these clubs, they definitely don't, in my personal opinion, they don't live up to the standard that the Lazrus hybrids are as far as just overall make. I feel like the grips are too small. Maybe the shafts themselves are a bit too whippy. I think distance is decent. I think maybe I'm a little bit preferential when it comes to just hybrids and how hybrids feel off the face. Smaller face, a little bit more compact, a little better ability to maybe control.
Yeah.
I think maybe with these fairways, you know, some of those shots are out of play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's because of me or whatnot. So I think that for the most part, forgiveness is there. As far as where I think Lazrus could improve, I think maybe a thicker grip size, because these are very, I know they feel very small compared to the hybrids,
Yeah, they
and
do.
even the wedges that we tested.
Yep.
But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, you know, the forgiveness is where it's at for high handicappers and everything. You want to get the ball in the air. You want the forgiveness if you hit one on the toe, out on the heel.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you still want that performance.
Yeah.
You know, and with the hybrid, you're going to gain it over those woods. I mean,
Yeah.
proof's in the numbers. Now, we did this with one specific ball. We're not changing balls. We're not changing anything else. You're seeing it here. There is no changes, no smoke and mirrors per se. This is just straight up calculations.
Let's take a look at the session summary, and then just sort by carry.
Yep. So there it is. The 3 wood and the 3 hybrid are just right there, which is rather crazy. You would think that the 3 wood would just smoke that hybrid, but truth's in the numbers right there.
And even talking, like you mentioned, well, control, like 21 yards on average to the right versus the hybrid's 20.5 to the left. That's just the hybrid accentuating my fade
Yes.
and my standard shot shape. You know, I mean, going coast to coast like a lot of golfers do, it's not necessarily a bad thing when you start 20 yards right and then bend it back 20 yards left. In some cases, if we're trying to hold the line just for the wind, that's going to be a perfect shot that stays on line.
Yep.
Backspin is surprising. Like relative backspin all throughout, with the exception of the 7 wood, which is at 5,400. The rest are pretty close, within 500 RPMs of each other.
Yep.
And the launches, like the 3 wood is launching a little bit higher than the hybrid. I wouldn't have expected that personally.
Mm-mm.
I would have expected the
A lot
hybrid to
more.
launch. A hybrid?
I wouldn't have expected that personally. I would have expected the hybrid to launch just a little bit higher. But that is our take, golfers. We appreciate everybody watching the channel. We've got more videos coming up. Just stay tuned. Justin, anything you want to add?
We talk about club speed and ball speed. You know, depending on what ball you have, can change what those numbers actually are. depending on what ball you have, can change what those numbers actually are.
Yeah. So Justin's going to become a mainstay here on the channel. You're going to see him from time to time as he's available. And he's going to give us a righty perspective, because so far throughout the channel, you've just seen me as a lefty handling things. And him and I were practicing a little bit earlier today with wedge control and how to be able to get certain elevation based off how you pull the club back in the backswing. Definitely some beneficial stuff for you to be able to work on. But this is David and Justin with Shoot for Par. We appreciate you all watching. Have a good day.